My show at this hour with Berman and Baldwin on CNN US, or internationally, you can also see us at State of the Race. It basically is exactly what the name says. We talk about this race and the state of it every night. Hope you can enjoy us. Okay, I'm not here alone. These are actually the more important people. We are here to talk about where are we, what are we going to see tonight, and what does it all mean to this race at this great debate. We're at the Facebook Live Lounge in the Spin Room in the Media Center in Hofstra University in Hempstead, New York, on Long Island. That's exactly where we are. With me today,
where it's all happening.
Where it's all happening right now. Hillary Rosen, longtime Democratic strategist. She is with her, a Hillary Clinton supporter. Kayleigh McEnany, Donald Trump supporter. And MJ Lee, very good friend, so I am very biased about this. CNN intrepid reporter, correspondent covering both campaigns. We're going to talk about the race, but we want you to join the conversation, so please post your questions in the comment section and we will get to them. Let us begin. It's all about the lead up. It's all about expectations. None of us know exactly what's going to happen because none of us know exactly what the questions are going to be or what's going to happen on that stage. But Hillary, as it stands at this moment, what is your focus as a Hillary Clinton supporter? What do you think the headline's going to be tomorrow?
Look, I think the headline's going to be Trump flubs, Clinton soars. I don't know. I think she was born for tonight. I think she is ready. She's excited. And frankly, I think she's going to show that she knows the issues better and has a more concrete plan.
I mean, if you look at the numbers, Kayleigh, Hillary Clinton has done, I think, in terms of one-on-one debates, she's done more than a dozen one-on-one debates in her career, many more when you think of primaries and such. Donald Trump, 0. This is the first time he's going to be facing off with Hillary Clinton on the stage. What do you think the headline's going to be tomorrow?
Well, I think, contrary to Hillary, my good
Shocking.
friend here, that it's going to be Trump exceeds expectations, because the way I look at the way I look at these debates is it's not about beating your opponent, pummeling your opponent with facts, winning the transcript argument.
Yeah.
It's about reaching the American people, touching the American people's hearts, and I think that that's something that Donald Trump is very good at. He's very good at speaking in terms that people can understand. I think that he has prepared for this, contrary to some of the reports that we've been hearing, but prepared in his own way. Mm-hmm. And I think he's ready to take his message to the American people. And for him, it's not beating Hillary Clinton with her 15-point plan, with his other 15-point plan. It's about reaching the American people.
You know, it's really an interesting conversation, MJ. You've been covering both campaigns for a very long time. You step into this spin room and wow, we're getting spun on the walk in and the walk out.
A lot of spinning right now.
A lot. I walked into Hofstra today, and this was the biggest day of the campaign. I still believe this is the biggest day of the campaign, but I'm getting that. Don't expect too much. They're both going to be subdued. It's going to be serious. Donald Trump may even be nice to Hillary. I feel like that's a unicorn that doesn't actually exist. And that's what we're hearing from Facebook users. I mean, one of the questions David's asking, is this debate going to be a game changer? What are you hearing from the campaigns? Do they expect it to be a game changer? Do they need it to be a game changer?
Yeah, I mean, the expectations game that is being played right now by both campaigns is pretty incredible. The Clinton campaign knows that she's a very good debater. Hillary, you're absolutely right. I don't think she has ever had a terrible debate or even a bad debate. And so the campaign knows that the bar just is naturally higher for her. On the Trump campaign side, he hasn't done this before. He has never gone up against someone one-on-one. And I think for them, they feel like as long as they're able to sort of avoid moments that get, sort of played on repeat, like a big flub or a big gaffe, then that's a good night for him. So the expectations game, really, really important right now and really in full force.
But the format is both wonderful for voters, I would say, but also brutal for a candidate. 90 minutes, no breaks, no teleprompter, no conferring with your side, 2 minutes for an answer, 6 segments, 15 minutes each. I mean, that is brutal, and that you can't say "Make America Great Again" for 90 minutes. I mean, so are we going
to be freewheeling, no question.
Don't you? I mean, and I kind of want it that way.
I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a conversation between them, a disagreement frequently between them. I think we'll see Lester Holt not jump in too much, but I personally want to see Lester Holt get in if it comes down to a sort of a he said, she said, and that gets repeated. No, you didn't. Yes, you did. No, you didn't. Yes, you did. Okay, enough already.
Right.
Let's move on.
Move on.
But I do think that the sort of freewheeling nature of it is going to benefit voters. I don't think it's about a wonk fest, really. I think it's about an.
You don't win debates on
I
wonk.
do think that this campaign for the last 3 months has been devoid of real issues in so many ways, and so if they both stick to what they say they want to do, they have a lot to say.
Yeah.
They both have a lot to say, and I think finally drawing a greater contrast on what are we going to do about healthcare? What are we going to do about taxes? How are we going to grow small business jobs? What about infrastructure? What does it mean for women's health? What about the Supreme Court? If they could get some of that out tonight, I think the voters win. And one more thing, which is both of these candidates know that this is the first of 3 debates. I don't think they have to leave it all on the field tonight.
Oh, really? Because I've heard from some folks that after tonight, all the other folks might not even need more debates. Only because we hear over
I don't
and
buy
over
that.
that voters are decided. It's every controversy that pops up, it's baked in, is what I hear a lot with Donald Trump supporters, right? Like there's nothing that can be said that's going to change anything. But tonight was the one opportunity.
I think that's right. But look, Hillary has the point that historically, we know Romney beat Obama in the first debate, widely understood. But then Obama came back and beat him 2 times over, so he changed the narrative.
such a
But to
different
your
cycle.
point that I think, exactly, it's a different cycle. And one of the most interesting polls is that 18% of voters watching tonight said they might change their mind. That's nearly 1/5 of people watching saying they might change their candidate.
And when you see
That-
it's 42, 41, 44, 44, that
exactly,
matters.
that matters.
Folks
Yeah,
are
but if
wondering-
they'll change their mind after one debate, they're not going to cement
Good point.
That's the question.
That's a great
necessarily
point,
before 2 more.
Tracy's asking on Facebook, and we get this a lot. The spin room sounds like maybe we all made this up, but actually the candidates love this as well. Are you hearing that the candidates are going to come into the spin room? Are you hearing
We are
anything?
not hearing that the candidates are coming to the spin room, at least not so far.
Wouldn't be surprised, though, I'd like to think, right, Hillary?
Well, I think that if a candidate were to have a really, really good debate tonight, then you could imagine a scenario where they see a room filled with reporters wanting to get their immediate reaction
Yeah.
and then wanting to come across the street and, sort of do a victory lap. I will say, if we were sort of trying to predict the headline that's going to lead CNN.com tomorrow, I think there's a very good chance that the headline is Trump, Clinton clash in explosive debate. Obviously, a lot of people are wanting to hear them talk about policy, but the psychoanalyzing that the Clinton campaign has been doing to make sure that they know ways for her to really get under his skin, I think there's a very good chance that she provokes him and that he sort of takes the bait. And maybe the other way around, too.
My guess is that happens both sides. I
Yeah.
do think that there are going to be some fireworks tonight, but I don't think that's either candidate's goal. I think in many respects, they're talking to different audiences. They have to accomplish different things. And so what we saw, a very effective strategy of Donald Trump in the primaries, where he came out in every spin room and declared himself the winner. And, it sort of took hold. I will not be surprised to see both of those candidates in the spin room tonight doing that. Just
Kaylee,
that.
Nick is asking, which candidate do you think is more nervous ahead of tonight's debate? What do
it-
you think?
judging by-
we don't know, but your guess.
Judging by the preparation leaks we've had or intentional reportings, I think Donald Trump seems very confident, is very relaxed coming into tonight. My question with Hillary Clinton, and maybe Hillary can take this, is can she over-prepare? Like, if you're trying so hard to prepare for 2 Donald Trumps and you're nervous about maybe which one will show up, and you have these flow charts in your mind depending on which Trump shows up, that's a lot to remember. And that tells me she is nervous if she's leaking a 19-page document saying, I hope the moderator fact-checks these lies of Donald Trump. There's been a lot of leaks from her side that make me think that she is more nervous than Donald Trump.
Is she nervous?
No, I think she's determined. I talked to her a few days ago. She's ready. She's determined. I think she does feel strongly that Trump gets a free ride on stuff. I'm sure Trump feels like she gets a free ride on stuff too. But she prepares because that's who she is.
It's her
wants to
process,
know
if
the
you will. Like
facts.
we all,
She wants to make sure that what she says she has backup for. She is that A student in class who will always come into the room prepared.
What do you think is the one question that the candidates will want to be asked tonight? I mean, because I asked MJ, because Samuel on Facebook is asking, how will the candidates address the issue of race relations in America? And that very likely could come up tonight. I mean,
Yeah.
it's what's happening in our world right now.
I actually think that Clinton might love to get a question about something related to her personal life, her personal story, and sort of use that to talk about her own life and her own experiences. This is something that we've seen her do on the campaign trail for the last couple of weeks, and as her advisors have told us, Jen Palmieri has been out there talking about this with reporters for a couple of weeks now. They really understand that throughout this campaign, because Donald Trump is an unusual candidate, they've really sort of experienced Trump sucking the air out of every single room that he walks into, and they, I think, as we're headed into the final stretch, really understand that she hasn't gotten as many opportunities to talk about herself because she has had to sort of react to everything that Donald Trump is saying and sort of make sure that she's sort of topping him all the time. And I think they really are at a point where they want to make sure that she's talking about herself and her own story as opposed to always responding to Donald Trump.
If you're just joining us, just want to say thank you for joining us. Facebook Live Spin Room Edition. We're sitting here at the Facebook Live Lounge. Please post some comments, your questions in the comments section. We're just talking about kind of the state of the race and what is going to happen tonight. On the flip side of what question they want to be asked about, Kayleigh, Kyle is asking, what topic do you think Clinton and Trump, whichever you want to pick, don't want to be asked about?
Well, I don't think Clinton wants to be asked, why did your aides smash your Blackberries with hammers? Don't think she wants to be asked that.
What doesn't Trump want to be asked, do you think?
I would say something about Trump University, perhaps, or some of the controversies we've seen come out of the Washington Post. I think he'd rather, not talk about that, but I think he's fully prepared to, because I think he has great explanations for the many controversies we've seen come out of the Washington Post.
What do you think? What topic? What topic do you hope they hit on tonight?
I think she wants to be asked about the economic recovery and middle-class jobs, because I think that naturally will go into his bankruptcies in Atlantic City and how he ended up forcing small businesses and workers, not to get paid or to get paid 30 cents on the dollar. That's going to be a big opportunity for her to talk about the differences between the two of them on the economy. I think you're right. I don't think she wants to talk about emails, but she's certainly prepared to talk about it.
What about the birther issue? I mean, it is Donald Trump talked and pushed this birther conspiracy for 5 years. He gave the press conference and has not wanted to talk about it. His campaign says we've put it to rest since then, when he said, I now believe Barack Obama is born in the United States. Rich is asking, does the birther issue come up? How much do you want to hear it discussed? Do you think it pushes forward the conversation? And then we'll get MJ's take on it.
Well, I think it's inevitable that she will raise his constant lying about history and historical fact. And so, and particularly to the extent that this conversation on race relations, where he tries to, talk about what he's going to do and sensitivity. And I think how he handled the birther issue so reflects an insensitivity on race that I do think it's going to come up, and I think she'll bring it up.
Are you ready for it? Or is he ready for it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think he would very simply say, I've moved on from this. I wish the Clinton campaign would too. And then he can bring up some of the things that did come out of the Clinton campaign, like the picture of President Obama in native headdress. That President Obama himself got very angry over the Clinton campaign putting that photo out. So I think he has some things to come back at with her. And the reason I mentioned Trump University is because it was interesting when you looked at the scandals for each candidate, or kind of the low points for each candidate. 57% said they were very concerned about Hillary Clinton's emails. And the highest number Trump had for most concern about an issue regarding Trump was Trump University. And interestingly to me, I thought the birther issue would be there, but it was ranked lower than the Trump University issue.
It was ranked lower in the poll. MJ, where do you think they're preparing? Where do you think Donald Trump is? We don't know how much he's preparing. I don't believe that he's not preparing at all, I think we could say. I think that's an expectations game. Where do you think that they're spending most of their time preparing? Is Hillary Clinton really sitting there preparing an answer about emails again, at this point, or what do you think?
Right. I mean, I think that she is clearly preparing to sort of face off against the different Donald Trumps, as you
It's more preparing
mentioned.
for what he's like.
It's
what
more
he's going to say.
right. It's more preparing for Trump the person as opposed to the different issues. I mean, her advisors are very open in talking about the fact that she's a policy wonk. She knows the answers to various policy questions inside and out. So that's not really where she needs work. She needs work in sort of combating Trump and facing a candidate that is so different and that she would not have expected to probably be I don't think the campaign realized that they would be going up against someone
Right.
like Donald Trump at this point in the election.
Last fun
If you had asked
question.
them.
Will there be surprises tonight? If there is a surprise, what is the surprise going to be?
Here's the surprise I hope we see. Because Hillary Clinton is like constitutionally incapable of self-aggrandizing hyperbole. Completely unable to do it. And
Donald Trump does it well. She
is
can
a
do it.
genius at
Yeah.
it, right? And these are moments where some theatrics and some, bragging on yourself is really called for. And so I'm going to be most excited and surprised if she can get herself to talk about herself in the same high esteem with which she discusses
So is that the big surprise on the flip side? Donald Trump does not brag about Donald Trump or talk about himself in the third person?
Yeah, it's interesting you said that because I actually had the flip side in mind, which I'd be excited to see. When Trump had that moment where he said, "I know I don't always use the right words, and I regret the times I haven't used the right words." I would like to see a moment like that from him. So it's like the flip side of the exaggeration and kind of just some humility that we saw in that speech that he gave that I thought was a very great moment for him.
What do you think?
I think I would be surprised if we finished the debate and both campaigns said that Lester Holt did a great job. I think they are both sides
That's
are
a good
so
answer.
ready right now to say this
Yeah.
is going to be the moderator being unfair, and so somehow he can pull off, having been fair to both campaigns in the campaign's perspectives. I think that would be very surprising.
Yeah, I think a big win is if Lester Holt, the moderator, is not the
not
story
discussed,
tomorrow.
right?
That was fun. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Now we're going to go drinking. We've got plenty of time before the debate starts. Thank you all so much for joining us on this wonderful Facebook Live. Go to CNN and CNN.com. That is exactly where you should, can, and I know will be watching the debate tonight. It starts at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all so much.